Okay, here's what we got. I picked up this body and go-kart chassis. One does not fit the other. For a real decent price. Basically, the kid was selling the body and the chassis was free with it. And what I saw in the picture was a live axle. Well, that was worth the price I paid for everything, so that's what I bought it for. And then when I got there, I realized it's almost a full go-kart. This thing, I put air in the tires yesterday and they're still holding. They're dry rotted, but they're holding air. I just threw that front wheel in there. It didn't come with it. So it's got full steering, missing front wheels, missing an engine and clutch. The chain is shot and needs a seat and the throttle cable. But the brakes are hooked up. They work. It's got a throttle accelerator pedal with linkage back to where the cable goes. And so basically, engine, clutch, chain, seat, front wheels, and throttle cable. Have myself another go-kart with a live axle. So what I'm working on now is this engine here came on the last go-kart I picked up, and I put a brand new Predator engine on it. It doesn't seem to have any compression. This engine here, another Honda clone, just like the first one, came on another mini bike, and I put a brand new Predator engine on that. So this one has compression, but apparently the case is broken. It's broken here. It's broken here. And this is broken here. The dowel's loose there, and this dowel's totally gone. So I was thinking if I put that back on, it might work. And then at the same time, I realized I have this engine with no compression, so I might be able to use parts out of the other one to fix this, or vice versa. So I turned this over, took the exhaust off, took the valve cover off, and turning it over, I put my finger on here, and I do have pressure out there, the exhaust port. So apparently I'm not getting any pressure through the, or it's losing pressure through the intake valve. So what I'm doing now is taking the carburetor off, and I'm going to see if I can look in there and see what's up with that intake valve. Maybe I get lucky and it's just something simple with the head or something. If that is, oh, that's, wait a minute. This thing doesn't have a head on it. That cylinder is all in one piece, isn't it? No, it's got a head. So maybe I could take the head off the other one and put it on this, and I'll make a good one. And I can switch the starter mechanism for the flywheel. And this one comes with a good carburetor on it, hopefully, because the other one was shot. And there we go. That's what we have now. So what I'm going to do is take off the carburetor, look in there, see if I can see that valve, and determine what to do. Okay, I took it apart, and I cleaned up the valves a little bit, and everything looked pretty good. The cylinder didn't look real sweet. Couldn't see any crosshatch marks on it, but it didn't have any lip on it either, like the rings weren't worn. So I put it back together, and now turn it over by hand. I got compression. It's just a matter of getting the valves adjusted correctly. But I put my thumb over this spark plug hole and spin it, and it's got compression. So now I got to take the starter coil off the other engine and put it on here. Then I'll check that compression, see just how good it is. Then I'll get a carburetor on there and make the thing run. Okay, I got the cover swapped over. Put the spark plug in. I put a voice grips there, welding voice grips there. Just hold it to the bench. Put the spark plug in there. Let's see if it's got spark. Yep, we got spark. put that spark plug in there in that engine, and I'll give it a little shot of something, see if it turns over. Okay, got it back together. I put the straight pipe on it, and ignition is on because it's not off. Down to the table a little bit, and a little shot of gas. It should start. No throttle. Good enough. All right. Now I know it works. Now I can put a carburetor on it. I probably got to rebuild one first. All right. The next step is this carburetor. Now, I'm hoping this carburetor works all right, and I'm guessing it will. I'm just going to take it apart and clean it up a little bit. I got this engine on. It came with a go-kart, and I was told it ran. But when I turned it over by hand, it had no compression at all. So now that I just went through the engine a little bit and I got it to fire over, just because the valves were a bit dirty, maybe he wasn't joshing me. So if this carburetor is good, I'll just clean it up, stick it on there, and then I'll have to worry about his air filter. And I can fix up something for that. So I have the carburetor all apart. And apparently there was some water damage. As you can see, that's the sediment bowl for the fuel shutoff. And there's the float bowl. In fact, the float needle was stuck in there. So what I'm going to do is use this chem dip. I'll take the parts, the jets, needle, and let's see, there's another jet here somewhere. I'll take that, this jet right here, and so all them parts, I'll leave them go. This float bowl gasket is no good, so I'll have to use another one off a different carburetor I have. And so I take these, just drop them in here, and let that sit for 20 minutes. After that, I pull it out, clean it up, and then put it back together, and hopefully she'll work for me. So I got the carburetor mounted on the engine. Haven't tried it yet, but I'm hooking up the linkage. The thing I have here is this governor is not really a governor. It's just a it's just an axis pivot point. The governor's been removed from this engine because I spun that thing all the way around, and so I know it's not in there. So what I need to do is take this rod here, and you can see in here, I put a black dot there. I might not be able to see it. I put a black dot there where I want to put the hole to put that rod in. And this black line here, I want to cut that off so the rod can go through that space. The reason for doing that, instead of going into a hole like this, as you can see, as I move this lever back and forth, that's a farther travel point. So the closer I get it to this axis here, the less it travels. So right now, if I was to hook it up here, I'd only have like a 1/4 inch travel, maybe a 1/2 inch travel on my throttle cable. And I want to have it, I'd like to have closer to a 1 inch travel on my throttle. That'll give me 2 inches of pedal. And at the same time, if we go to the bike, the go-kart, if you look right here, that's about 1 inch movement. So, in order to make that shorter, I might have to take this, where it goes in here, and put a hole down here, so it will be shorter. And I don't know if you got that, but at least I know what I'm doing, so we'll see how it works out. So, I got the carburetor on. Obviously, I did a few other things. Carburetor's on. The linkage is set. Now, I got the valve cover off because I still want to adjust the valves. But meanwhile, I decided it'd be easier to tune it while it's on the chassis. So I threw it on there, and I did not get a clutch yet, so I borrowed a clutch off another go-kart, and I also had to take the back wheel off to get the clutch off, so I put the back wheels on this too. So we're going to get this thing going pretty good pretty soon. I still got to put the chain on and a throttle cable, and it's actually got a kill switch underneath the steering wheel. That's cool. And then I'm going to have to make a seat, but I can still test drive it without it. Here's the other go-kart. This is I'm not even sure what it is. It's made up of different pieces. It's been extended. Looks like a snowblower engine on it, but it works. So I just borrowed the sprocket, the two wheels and the clutch. There's another go-kart down there, and another one underneath. So these are all actually ready to go. Probably going to sell them and sell this one. But right now I still got to make her work. So for the chain, I wrapped my new chain on there with the engine all the way back as far as it goes. And I put a grease mark, used a grease pen to mark the chain where I need to take the link off. And obviously that's going to be like an overlap. So the only other thing I could do is take another one off and use a half link, but that's okay. I got enough space because I can move the engine forward and take up that stack. The accelerator cable is connected and functioning properly. And I wired the kill switch, which I've found out in the past is very important to hook up before you do your test starting. I've had a couple runaway motors. This one won't run away. I just routed the fuel line inside the shroud, the fan shroud, to come out on top of the engine. So that way it's not in the way of the accelerator, the throttle linkage. And then I'm getting pretty close to riding this thing, test driving it. So I figure I might as well just take that roll cage off, because there's no way I can fit in this thing safely with that cage on. It's just too small for me. So off comes the cage, on goes the gas tank, and then I'll tune the valves. Okay, I got the cage off, got the gas tank temporarily mounted. Sometimes my temporary stay permanent, who knows. That won't fit with the roll cage on it, so if I put that back on, it's got to come off. But I plan on painting it anyway, so everything's coming off. But for now, tank is on, fuel's turned on. Put a fuel cock in there, fuel filler is already on that line. Ignition switch is on, gas is on, choke's on. Let's see if she starts. Hey, look at that. The kill switch actually works. I'm amazed. And it's good. Anyway, I got to do a little tuning up. Got to adjust the valves and clear the carburetor. Definitely idling real high. But I think I got the valves maybe a little too tight. That one doesn't seem. Anyway, we'll see how it goes.